Hi, my name is JD, and today we're going to be revisiting a Marshall Vintage Modern, but this time it's been modded by Dan Gower. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a little 1 minute track so you can hear what it sounds like with some drums. I was using the LTD JM2 with the new Monty's Bethnal Green pickups. It was running through the amp, KHTK Goose Screamer, running into the Splone 1x12 with the SM57 and the SE Electronics VR Voodoo 1 ribbon microphone. And this is what it sounds like. Right, now that's out of the way, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the settings on the amp. I'll tell you a bit about the amp, and I might even try it with the Vintage 30s, and we'll see what kind of tones we're going to get. All my guitars are actually in tune to E flat at the moment, so I might probably just stick with this guitar for the video. But basically, a bit of a backstory on this. I've always wanted to try the Vintage Modern, so I got one, did the video, and it's a great sounding amp. It sounds very, very good for that vintage 60s, 70s kind of rock, maybe up to the 80s. And it was a really, really good amp. And basically, I wanted something modded. And instead of buying another JCM 800, because they've shot up in price at the moment, so I thought I'll just ring Dan and I'll see if he can get the Vintage Modern modded. And turns out he can. He does a mod for it, so I thought, right, we'll get that modded. Now, the only thing is, it sounds absolutely nothing like the original Vintage Modern. So I think I might actually buy another Vintage Modern because I liked it before it got modded. It was a really, really good amp. So if you ever see one and you get a chance to try one, just try it because I think they're a really good amp. Very underrated amp. But anyway, this one's been modded now, so it sounds nothing like the original Vintage Modern. And it's an absolutely fire-breathing monster. And I'm going to go on record and say this is the best amp I've got. To me, it's better than all the other amps. It's kind of like an amalgamation or a combination of the high gain mod, the JCM 800 high gain mod I've got, the Marshall Kerry King, and the Friar Deliverance. It's like all them three came together and made this Vintage Modern absolute beast of an amp. So I hope the sound comes across in the video how good it is. So with this Vintage Modern, the good thing about it is it still actually has got a clean channels, because normally when you get your amps modded you can get a bit of clean, but especially JCM 800 it's only a single channel amp anyway. So the good thing about the Vintage Modern is you still get a clean channel. So at the moment I'll put the settings on the screen and I'll try and put them on. Well, I won't be able to every time I move the dials. I'll let you know what they're on. But at the moment, this amp used to have a detail on the body, which was basically like a low gain and a high gain. And I don't mean settings, I mean like a low end gain and a high end gain. And you can kind of blend them in between. That's been scrapped now, so we've basically got gain 1 and gain 2. I don't know if they're cascading or the way it works, you'll have to ask Dan. But at the moment, they're both set at 9 o'clock. And I've got the mid shift, I'm going to put it in the left hand position, which is probably the most, what's the word? I can't think of the word. I'll put it on screen if I can think of it. But anyway, this is what it sounds like. Right, that's enough of the cleans, otherwise the video's going to be about an hour long. So basically, you can get a low gain clean setting out of this amp even after it's been modded. Now, when I got this amp, I plugged it in, played it, and I was like, whoa, this is unbelievable. And then the next day, I went to plug it in again, and I was like, it doesn't sound as good. I was like, oh, is this honeymoon period over after a day? And I thought, it's not. It sounded okay, it just didn't sound as good as it did before. And I remember when I got the PVVTM 120, that was a weird situation, but it sounded unbelievable. And then I played it the day after, and I was like, it doesn't sound as good. And I had to crank the volume. Turns out on the P-Ret, it was a preamp valve had gone. So I thought, oh, have we got another preamp? Has one of the valves gone? Well, I think they were all replaced, actually. I don't know. I don't know if they were replaced or not, but I thought, what's going on here? And turns out, I'd left it on the low gain setting. So when you turn this amp on, because it's got, I'm going to call it digital switching. It's not like physical switches. They're just like pushing switches. When you turn it back on, it just goes back to the low gain, the clean channel all the time. And it just shows you how much gain this amp has actually got, that I had it on the low gain and it was just like still sounding okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the gain 1 and gain 2 at about 1 o'clock. That's where I normally have them. I'm just going to have to adjust the volumes because it's going to get compressed and we'll have to turn it up. Right, so that's at a decent volume. So there's still no boost. We're still on the clean channel. I've just upped the gain 1 and gain 2 to about 1 o'clock. The depth switch is pulled, so it's got more bass. And this has actually got a thick button. When you engage that, it just adds a lot of thickness, like a lot. So at the moment it's out. In. So that just thickens up the tone a bit. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, but it just gives you a bit of extra tweakability in the amp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the gain 1 and gain 2 up to about 3 o'clock. Still no boost, and these are very low output. These are very low output pickups. I'll probably try the guitar, and we'll see how much gain this has got without the actual boost. So sounds okay. It's quite dark, but it is a very quite very dark amp this anyway. So this is tuned to E flat as well. This is the MH1000 DT, but this has got the Fishman Fluence pickups in, and it's pushed in, so it's the active side, so a lot of gain. So this is what that sounds like. So as you can tell, still on the clean and still no boost. So what we'll do now is we'll turn the gain 1 and 2 down a bit. They're both at about 1 o'clock now. And I'm going to engage the KDH DK Ghoul Screamer. I'll put the settings on screen. This is what it sounds like. Sounds absolutely awesome. I'll just move the mid switch to the middle position, which is the most scoop sounding. And all the way over to the right, which is, I'll have to put these on screen because I can't remember now. Just pull the Fishman Fluence so it's in the passive side. I mean, that's a great sound as it is, but we're on the low gain side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on the high, and I'm probably going to put the mid shift back to the left hand side. So this is what it sounds like on the high. So I'll do some chugging and I'll switch between the high and low so you can hear the differences. So on the low at the moment. this amp, it just sounds awesome. It kind of retains the clarity. I remember there was an amp called, I think it was the Albion TCT 50 or 100, and I think it was basically like a Marshall JCM DSL. And what you could do with that amp is you could have the clean channel running in parallel with the overdrive channel, and it's kind of a bit like what this sounds like. It sounds like that low gain channel is still there, but you're just adding more on top of it, and it's not getting so distorted that it loses its clarity. It's just adding to it the overall width of the sound. So this is why I absolutely love it. So I'm just going to swap my guitars back. How long are we on now? So we're back on the LCD JM2, and I'll just do some more chugging. Sounds unbelievable. Another good thing about this amp is all the controls are on the front. So on most of the Marshalls you have some settings on the back. I don't know why that is, you'd have to ask Dan. But with this basically the the depth and the glass knob, they're on the front. So everything on the front, dead easy. It means it don't have to go at the back. What more can I say about this amp? It's my perfect amp. And if anyone's thinking about getting an amp modded by Dan Gower, the vintage moderns at the moment are actually a lot cheaper than the JCM 800s, even the reissue ones. So if you can find one of these cheap, send it to Dan, get it modded, and it is an unbelievable amp. I'll just do some tweaking of the EQ, the bass, middle and treble, just so you can see what kind of sounds we'll get, and then I'll probably go over to the V30s, do a little tiny bit of chugging, and then we'll call it a day. So the bass at the moment is on about 2 o'clock, so I'm just gonna put that at about 12. In fact, I'll put them all at 12. Presence, bass, middle, treble 12, depth at 12, glass at 12, and all the gains at 12. Everything at 12, and I'll put the mid shift in the middle. The boost is still engaged, but this is what it sounds like. So what I'll do now is I'll do some chugging, and I'll try and do the same kind of chugging on the V30 so you can hear the differences. Right, I've switched over to the V30s now, but I've just totally forgot what the riff was, so I'll just try and play something. Right, so this is the Friedman 2x12, which has got vintage 30s in, and this has got an SM57 and a Neumann TLM 102 on it. All the settings are the same. So I'm just going to put the gain up to both of them at 1 o'clock, and I'm going to put the mid shift all the way to the right. Okay, now that is chugging. The deck switch is not even on as well. Put that on, it's going to be too much. Okay, now. I think we'll take that off, but God, this is sounding good. My finger's stuck. Can't stop chugging this amp. It sounds unbelievable, and there's not much more I can say. I know I've not got over many of the features, but most of these mods, the depth does the same thing on all of them. Same with the glass, it just adds. Let's have a look. This is the depth. Just adds that low end chug. It's actually pulled at the moment. I'll push it in. Oh, how good sight is that? And the rest is history, as they say. But this video has been on for 24 minutes now, and I'm sorry I've just been not talking and just chugging. And I hope it comes across how good this amp is, because it is just my perfect sound. At the moment, with these pickups and this amp, it just sounds perfect. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Right, so start again. So we're on the. This is the. I can't speak. Can't speak. Kyla, help me.